guys, welcome back to our channel. We are coming back with...
Your channel.
Yeah, I guess.
But thank you.
It can be our channel when you're on it. But we're coming back to you with the second half of the Special Books by Special Kids reaction video to a sociopath with bipolar disorder. Is that what they called it? Interview with a Sociopath, which is Antisocial Personality Disorder and Bipolar. And we had such an amazing reaction to the first video. I can't even believe it. Not to mention the huge reaction that we had to a video we filmed back in November.
Yeah.
Huge.
I'm okay with it.
It brings out the best and the worst in the internet, but for the best of you, you guys are amazing. And especially this last video, the comments are just amazing. They're the people that I want to keep around. So, we're not gonna waste too much time here. Go ahead and like this video. You can like it now, and if you dislike it later, that's totally fine. Not gonna offend me. And yeah, let's get into this.
When you say prey on somebody, what do you mean?
So the way it would work for me is I'll speak to someone. I won't really tell them much about me. They'll tell me about them, and then once they tell me about them, I'll kind of form a personality. I'll exaggerate certain features about my own personality to match what it is that they're looking to see. And then once I get my goal, whatever that goal is, then I'm done with the situation, and then I move on.
See, for me, I think I'm almost the opposite. Like, I don't only listen to hear about them.
You don't intentionally put a mask on either. You are very much yourself.
I overshare. If anything, I overshare and will kind of dominate the conversation.
At first?
I think because I don't know, I don't talk to that many people.
Well, let's think about a specific scenario. Let's think about the other Megan.
Okay.
How did that start?
Comments?
Were you acting like yourself? Were you playing up a certain role? Were you letting her fill in the blanks so that you could fill that role?
I think it's more I guess I trusted my authentic self enough, or it's just if the person I was at that time was enough to be what she wanted. Yeah, so I don't know.
For a little backstory, at that point in time, Greg was
I was a caricature of myself, though. I was a meathead. I just went to the gym all the time, so that's not that's already a mask.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's already a character that I was playing.
But you played it all day, every day,
right,
throughout, not just for her, not just for that situation.
Right.
And yeah, I agree. At that point in time, Greg was going to the gym all the time, lifting weights. He was very, very big, muscular. And
Instagram posts about it all the time.
Yeah. And that's how he met the other Megan. So, and I mean, that works. I would say that you are a version of yourself. I wouldn't say that you put on a mask, but you do play up, like you said, a caricature of yourself. That makes sense. I can see that.
Yeah. That's I don't know. Most interactions aren't memorable enough for me to remember them.
Yeah. When you met me, you were just...
I guess I think I'm cool enough. I don't know.
Yeah, I genuinely agree.
Or I know enough about most things so that when someone talks to me about whatever they're into, I can talk with them about that. So it doesn't necessarily feel like a mask. It just feels like... You know what I mean? I am engaging them at their interest, but I don't know.
I was going to say
listener.
Erin. Yes. Yeah. My sister.
So I guess it is listening, yeah.
She is the hands down biggest pop music fan ever. Loves boy bands, loves K-pop, loves music, movies, all of this stuff, all of pop culture. And sometimes, she can talk your ear off about it, but Greg will genuinely listen. To the point where I can't listen anymore.
I'm genuinely interested because I like to learn stuff.
Yeah, and he likes to engage with people. So the people that you have, I don't think that you're manipulating her when you do that. It's not who you are. You're not a big boy band fan, but you will listen to whatever she has to say about it because you are intrigued.
Yeah, and I do get something out of being a good listener. I don't know. There's value in making someone else happy. And, that is a way to do it. This doesn't have to be, a malicious manipulation, I guess. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So anybody that I tell, they're very wary of me.
Is that warranted?
Is it warranted? I would say yes. Because you do have to be relatively careful when you're dealing with someone who truly has an antisocial personality disorder. It's not necessarily a thing where there's gonna be physical violence, or you're gonna be hurt or anything like that. But if that person doesn't have insight as to how their actions actually affect other people, I would say the likelihood for you being manipulated, even if it's in a small way, is gonna be very high, because most people with sociopathic tendencies, they're not gonna always formulate super grand schemes to take advantage of people.
He just says that so perfectly.
Yeah, I was gonna do that in 2 clips, but that's just so perfect.
Yeah, it really is.
And I think that it's important for people to understand that I don't think that everybody's going to be like Greg. Everybody with antisocial personality disorder is not going to be like you. You're not going to have that insight. Or like Dyshae.
Dyshae, yes.
I hate saying it because I don't want to say it wrong. I know that the level of insight that you guys have is not common. It takes a lot of work.
Right.
And I think people are misunderstanding my intention with these videos and thinking that I'm trying to say everybody with antisocial personality disorder is fine. They're okay. Be friends with them. Date them even. Which is not what I'm saying. And people are like, oh, but you deserved better than if you can see that. Like, well, yeah, but I'm not taking the... I'm here now. Why would I leave him now that we've put in the work and I'm happy? That makes no sense. But do I recommend that? No.
Yeah, no. It's not. This is the exception by far. And as far as we're aware, like,
I do think that it's common for people to have antisocial personality disorder and be unknown, not tell people.
I don't think most people with it know they have it.
True.
Like, they just don't understand why they keep fucking things up in their lives.
And
you know what I mean?
It doesn't mean that you're sadistic or malicious. Like, it just means you're antisocial.
Yeah.
You're just not respecting the rights of others.
Well, and most of the times the person you hurt the most is yourself. Like, just constantly getting in your own way.
And you don't really care because that's part of it, so you just continue.
And you take the people that are around you down with you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Family.
That's why it's dangerous.
And so you think it's warranted to be wary?
Yeah.
I think it's warranted to be wary of everybody, though. A little.
True, but more so...
And I'm probably jaded because I had my relationship with you, but I am skeptical of others. I've had dated others like that, too. And I just think that I go into most encounters trusting people, but, like, I don't put my whole...
You don't blindly trust that they'll be great.
I wouldn't let my bag around people, like, you know what I mean? Like,
people are capable of anything.
And I'm also a recovering addict, so I know what addicts do, too. Like,
and you never know who's an addict.
Exactly.
I don't know, man.
Okay. The other night, Greg and I kind of came to this realization that when he manipulates people, it's not necessarily to be sadistic and hurt people.
Very rarely is it that. I was talking about earlier, I get a lot out of making someone happy. And, like, I don't know. There are people who it's very easy to make happy. Like, they've had a rough go of it or whatever. Or they're not... And there's any number of reasons why we're not happy with who we are as people. And if you can... There's a lot of area to, like, work with to manipulate someone into happiness. And I don't know, I guess that was just my thing, was manipulating someone into happiness instead of into misery. And
not saying that that's okay.
No.
Because you're still manipulating them. Like, what would happen...
Still hurt at the end of it, every time.
What would happen, I was thinking with this, with the other Megan again, you found someone that was kind of broken, and you were able to manipulate, like, in manipulating her, you didn't see the long run, like, as much...
No, and like...
Do you see the end game when you're doing all this stuff? Like, that's where the hurt
There
comes.
is, like, a concept of it, but not... In my head, the ideal scenario plays out every time. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally... The bad thing is not ever going to happen.
So, like, when you saw that, it was like, Megan, this will work out with Megan, and this will also work out with this Megan.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That makes... I can understand, because I've seen how you think in those situations, and, like...
Yeah. I don't know. bad things can't happen, kind of. Is more or less what it is.
So that's how the manipulation, it does hurt. It hurts in the end because you're not seeing the true reality of what's going to happen.
Right. The inevitable conclusion is always the best case in my brain.
And then manipulating them to make them feel better, it gives you, like, power, feel good.
It's control over something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That makes sense. I can understand that.
Manipulate, lie, and become angry, ridiculously angry.
What is your motivation not to do that stuff?
I just feel like it's too much chaos that I'm putting out there in the world. And that's really it. I just feel like it's too much chaos, and that's just not a good thing.
I just agree with all of it. Like, it's not even the chaos, though. It's just, like, jail is a very real, like, possibility with a lot of antisocial behaviors. Like, if I break the law in a significant way, I'm going to jail for a while.
Yeah.
Like, I have a record, and it's like, that's a consequence that I can think about. Like,
yeah, it's real enough that you can't ignore it.
The 2 and some years that I did at one time that's a lot of time. Like, I don't ever want to do it again.
And then with what about with, like, us?
Yeah, it's losing anything that I have now. Like, this is the best it's ever been for me, so I don't really want to screw that up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. The consequences were finally bad enough where it was like, oh, just don't do the thing. Even though, like, I still do, like, that's only gotten rid of the worst of it. Like, there's still many just irresponsible and, like, immature
the
parts
rules
of
don't
it.
apply to me kind of thing.
That I still struggle deeply with.
Yeah, I can see that.
What would you say to the people you've hurt in the past?
I wouldn't even say that I hope you can forgive me. I would say it's more so I hope you can forgive yourself. There's not anything wrong with you. You are still perfectly fine as a person. And I would say basically, I won't say don't take it so personally, but don't look at it like, there's something wrong with you. It was something that was wrong with me, basically.
Is it still wrong with you?
I struggle with it. That's why, I limit myself in certain situations.
I gotta think about it for a second because I don't know.
I kind of feel like the answer, I can understand his answer, but I feel like it kind of wasn't, it's not an apology. Because I don't think I don't think he feels like he needs one or deserves one.
Correct. I wouldn't.
But
so like cognitively, I know that there should be an apology. Like, cognitively, I know that what I should say to the people I've hurt is, I'm sorry, like, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Honestly, don't care.
You don't think about it.
Never.
Yeah.
Hardly, like, never.
And that's why when you were in, like, TC, in the therapeutic community, they did that ripple effect. That makes so much sense. I'm going to pull that thing out if you ever do something wrong again. I'm going to sit down and write down who you wronged and how it wronged them and then ripple it out.
It's a powerful exercise.
Yeah.
But, like, as insofar as, like, hey, here's your chance to, Chris being like, here's your chance to say something to those people, I think that's a perfectly valid thing to say. Like,
say, I hope you forgive yourself and you're a perfectly fine person.
Yeah, because I think as far as he's concerned, there was something wrong with them. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, if you allow yourself to be manipulated, you are then, therefore, a victim. And, like, you just don't want to... Being a victim sucks. Like,
yeah, so he's trying to make it sound like they're not victims?
That being a victim wasn't their fault.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can, when you're victimized, sometimes you can blame yourself.
Yeah. I think that it still should have been... Yeah, okay, so he said, it's not that I say, I hope you forgive me. It still should have been, I'm sorry, first.
Yeah.
I know, that's just a difference of
every
how
good apology begins with, I'm sorry.
Yeah, or includes it. I made a freaking whole video apologizing without saying the words I'm sorry in the video. But
It's very funny.
Sometimes it's like you don't even realize it. You're talking yourself in circles. I genuinely was sorry, and I just didn't say it in the right words. So I understand how that can happen, and I feel like the part where he said that I hope you can forgive yourself, that to me is like accepting like that apology that you won't ever get from him. You won't. And for me, accepting apologies that I never got was such an empowering feeling, because it's like I don't need your apology to feel better, because I know that I didn't deserve that.
Right.
So I understand it. I don't know if it came across the best in this clip, but I understand the premise.
It's a hard question to be put on the spot for, too.
Yeah, especially because you don't feel that, like, if you don't feel that or don't think about
it's hard,
that.
Yeah, you don't want to come off as fake.
Yeah, and that's something we have gotten the opportunity to speak with him, and so he said in one of our comments that he wanted to be authentic in this. He wanted to answer the questions, to give a good representation of ASPD, but to also stay authentic to himself. Yeah. And I think I respect that. Do I agree or think that's the best choice? Like, would I react or act like that in a situation? No, but that's okay. People can be different.
Right. Well, especially people with behavioral.
Yeah. And not everyone's going to understand that, and some people will get up in arms, but that is my choice.
Do you view yourself as better than other people?
Yeah, definitely. But I do my best to kind of combat that. Because that comes from, outsmarting people. You get this sense of, inflated sense of self, almost narcissistic, I would say.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's not... I just feel like I'm smarter than most people. And I usually am, and I don't know, it's rare that I meet... At least on, like, just book intelligence, like, IQ kind of intelligence. Like, maybe someone is better at a specific thing than me, but most of the time in overall well-rounded intelligence, I feel better, smarter than them.
Yeah, and I would agree that you are. Your IQ score is higher, you know more, your vocabulary is much more vast, you have read so many more books, you have a wide life experience. It's not like traveled and cultured, but
right.
You know that about yourself. And I think that's important.
And I've traveled and been cultured in books. Read books.
But do you think that you're genuine? Like,
I haven't
there
read
are people.
A book in forever. Sorry, I haven't read a book in a long time, so that was fake.
Do you have any fears?
Fears. I would say the fear of being inadequate. That's the main one. The fear of being mediocre. I don't want to die feeling like I didn't do anything, basically. And that's really my only fear.
Yeah, I get that for sure. Like, so I used to really resent that there's nothing that I am really, really talented in, and like I am a jack of all trades kind of person. I used to really I wanted to be really good at one thing, and like I never really found that. The other fear that I always had was being a bad dad. I found out that I'm not a bad dad. I'm actually a really good dad. So that kind of has been assuaged, and which is nice, because man, that was a big fear of mine. I was scared that like I was not going to be able to be, I don't know, care about another person like that, I guess. I don't know.
Like, drop everything for him.
Yeah.
Does that, like, more than me. He is more compassionate at times. Like, it's like an ebb and flow. When I can't do it, hands down, Greg's got it. Greg is the guy. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better person to be the dad, honestly. And as far as you being a jack of all trades, isn't that something special in its own? Like, you can fix anything.
Yeah, I didn't know how... Like, I honestly didn't realize how different...
Goddamn MacGyver.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was special for a while.
Yeah, he has a 3D printer, so he prints us stuff. He fixes all of the stuff, like he just fixed the toilet, he's fixed electrical stuff, he's fixed all of the appliances.
You know what that is? I think
cars.
It's that the generation above us, is the older generation, is like so, like, can literally build houses. Like, and it's just like, I know many people that are a generation above me who can literally build a house with their bare hands. And it's like, damn, I don't have that. I don't think I could do that.
You could totally build a house.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I would totally trust you to build a house.
I just always know that there's someone so much better at a thing than me that, like,
That is the thing I wanted you to say in the last question, because I knew that's how you felt.
Yeah.
I knew that's how you felt.
You can't make me say things.
I'm not trying to make you say things. That's what, like...
Yeah.
I knew that you had that in you because I know you've expressed that to me so many times.
Yeah.
And that's why when you say, like, a fear of you, or you feeling like you're better, it's like, no, I know for a fact that you have said many times.
But, see, it's the differentiation is in it's the people that I meet day to day, they're not better than me at those things.
Well, no, you don't interact with many people.
Right. So it's the wider, yeah.
I got it.
It's like comparing yourself to the
We got it. I
teachers.
figured it out.
No,
that makes me so happy because I wanted you to express it because people keep saying that I put words in your mouth. So I'm like, he's got to get it out there.
Yeah.
And you did it, baby. I'm happy. Okay. So your fears, like you said, being a jack of all trades, not just being... I just think you're so special at so many things that, like, it's... Yeah, you're a jack of all trades, but you are so good at so many things. You might not be an expert, but that is what makes you so good at them. Knowing your shortcomings, knowing that you're not the best at it, makes you better at it. You know when you fall short.
Yeah.
And that is not something you always did.
Paper.
Yeah, right? Read some academic journals. We'll figure it out.
What was it like before you were so self-aware?
I would say it was very confusing. Very confusing because I didn't quite understand why it was. I didn't feel the way regular people felt. And I would often do things that would be, categorized as sensation chasing. So, you would engage in illegal activities, for example.
So, confusing isn't the word I would use. More lonely. So the sensation chasing thing, like, definitely, like, I feel like because I felt alone and apart, like, it's almost boring or it's isolating, and, like, doing things to break out of that was a lot of it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And did you struggle with connections on a deeper level? We didn't truly reach this connection until therapy and, like, later in life.
That's what I mean, isolating. It, like,
that makes
you are
sense.
apart. Like, everyone else just kind of, like...
How did you feel about your actions? You just didn't think about them?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I understand it because there's the whole lack of just...
I had no
insight.
perspective. Yeah, I literally just didn't have a perspective.
Lack of insight, the lack of future thinking, like, it makes sense. How do you feel now that you had this insight?
It's harder. It's harder to, like, consider everything all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That makes sense.
It's better. Like, it's clearly better. Like, I don't risk going to jail. Like, I have a great life. Like, that stuff is it's all worth it. It's just,
Do you...
takes more thought. It takes a lot more thought to live.
Explain. On what behaviors?
Well, to live a responsible life and, like, pay the bills and have a household and take care of a kid and have a job. Like, all of those things take cognitive effort, and, like, none of it just feels like it comes naturally. Like, it's all, I don't know.
That also could be, like, the ADHD,
Yeah,
like,
it could be other things.
lack of executive functioning skills. Like, that's a muscle that I'm still trying to learn how to use, and I just feel like... Was that Bobby?
I thought it was. You probably didn't hear it, but it was there one again.
That's definitely the Chubs. So,
You sure it's not Jazzy? I thought I saw him. Oh, yeah. She's
Nope.
not asleep.
I just think that... What about things like the behaviors like stealing, illegal activities, drugs? Is that something that you've just kind of built... I don't want to give an answer.
Like, stealing, I definitely... every time I go in a store, I still think about it, and I'm like, nah. You do this, and you get caught, and you will go back to jail for way too long to be stealing something that doesn't cost anything. Like, I have... money. Now, if I didn't have any money, I have no idea. Like, I really, like, needed something, I would probably steal it. Like, I don't know, in the moment, I feel like it would be a little bit, but I like to think that I could be better than that. Don't know.
Yeah. I think it's important that people understand, like, sometimes it's just those
It is
simple
a struggle.
Behaviors. Yeah.
It's a struggle.
Yeah. There's nothing fun about ASPD. It might not affect you deeply, like how they want it to. Like, they want you to be miserable and sad, but it does.
Yeah, you end up, your life, the quality of life gets a little bit worse, a little bit worse, a little bit worse. You know what I mean? And you may not care as much, but, like, it is a lower quality of life.
Yeah, it's still a miserable way of being, and it takes a lot of work to just exist normally like we do. Like,
pay your fines, like, do those things that...
Not be in debt. Yeah, and we've managed to rebuild our credit, get out of debt, like, filed bankruptcy, rebuilt credit, did all that, like, have been in this house for how many years now? 4 years? That's a long time for me, too.
Yeah, to be in one place, for sure.
Yeah, had a job for a while now at the same place, like, you're working, you're respected there. Yeah. Like, all of those things are so admirable, and I just wish people could have seen old Greg to know how different that is. But then again, I'm glad that you never did.
Do you think you will manipulate somebody in the future?
No. Not to the extent that I did it before, at least.
Yeah, man. I feel the same way. Like, I feel like once you have that realization, and, like, once you get to the level that Dyshae's at, and that I feel like I'm at, like, it becomes the awareness, you can't really lose it. You know what I mean? Like,
he said about the low functioning, I think, low frequency in the first, we talked about it in the first video. I understand, he said that's just low level behaviors, low quality. And it makes sense. Like, once you realize you're behaving poorly and acting like an idiot, you don't want to act like an idiot.
Yeah.
It's not beneficial.
Right.
And I think that made sense to me. I was like, oh, I got it.
Unskillful.
It makes sense.
Did the viewer ever lose that skepticism when interacting with somebody with antisocial personality disorder?
You gotta know. Like I said, the people that I've known, I've had my friends for in between 8 and 13 years, 12, 13 years. So it's like, they're not too concerned about that because, they know that, this is a relationship that's been pre-existing. The people that are close to me, I don't really do anything to upset those people because that's not beneficial to me to upset the people that are close to me.
No, you should never lose skepticism.
Yeah, probably not. Like, there's always the potential something bad could happen.
That would be like me not having boundaries in place.
Right.
Me not having the checks and balances in our relationship that make me feel secure and make me know that you're not doing anything wrong.
That's definitely...
Just because I have full trust in you, but that does not mean that I'm not sitting here with boundaries, knowing, like, what my limits are and when I'm okay with certain things or when I'm not.
Right.
And I think that you're less likely to do anything to, like, close people, but it is when you would get new people in your life.
Not only that, like, I feel like I hurt people by not hurt, but, like, by not doing the normal, like, social interactions and what. Yeah, sorry. By, like, not... Like, I'm not good at texting people, at staying in touch, at, like, all those things that people do with their acquaintances and friends and stuff. Like, I feel like I hurt people by not doing those things sometimes. So it's like, as long as you know the personality of that person and, like, what to expect, like, I think that's probably what you'll get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not that you should just always, like, be like, are they in the back of your head thinking that something bad's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But
you should know what their disorder is and
what
that will entail. Because it's always going to be a part of you. And I think that people closest to you understand that.
Yeah.
Like your family and everyone, they understand that that's just kind of how you are. And if they need you, all they have to do is reach out to you and you'll be there.
Right.
Were you or are you ever a risk to be violent?
If you cross certain lines, for sure. Definitely.
I'll answer that more specifically and be like, definitely been in fights. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, been in fights, punched people, been punched. Usually lost fights. Like, I'm not a big person, so winning fights is never. I've won 2 fights, but
counting?
Yeah, but had my ass kicked more times. Like, but to even get into those situations, like, that's stupid.
You do have the violent side still in you. That violent streak is still there. And I have seen it in very certain situations in more recent years. Specifically when we witnessed a guy hit a woman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it snapped. Greg was just like done. Like, he hulked, he turned green, ripped the shirt off, went in, grabbed the crowbar, went back out, and I'm like, I'm gonna call 911. You know, we'll get the cops involved and not go at them with the crowbar. Like, let's
Sometimes I just want to hurt people. I don't know.
And to you, that's a justified reason. Like, he just decked the shit out of her. Like,
yeah.
So I understand that. So that's also another thing that we say when we say that Greg keeps himself at home. Like, there's a reason
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, it's like I don't
go out looking for people like
right,
that.
Right. Yeah.
But if you witness it, like, Greg's not gonna. He's not going to be one to tolerate racism, sexism, transphobia, homophobia.
I'm the dude that's gonna ruin your joke because you said some just dumb stuff. I'll be like, here's why you're an
that's
asshole.
not cool, and here's 5 reasons why.
Yeah.
So don't do that again.
Yeah.
And I mean,
or just don't do it around me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear your racist joke or sexist joke or misogynistic joke or.
But you don't get angry with. Would you say you get angry or violent?
It's.
You get firm.
Probably more annoyed than I should be.
Yeah.
Like, because it's really not that serious. But to me, it is. Like, I don't know.
It's serious to me. I think it's important to stand up for those things when you hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm such a buzzkill, though. Like, really am. And, like, I know it, but I don't care because it's something I believe in enough.
You don't tolerate it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't see you, like, throwing hands over it with somebody at work.
No, we're not gonna fight. I'm not gonna fight over it, but I am probably more annoyed than I need to be.
But if you see someone hit a woman, that's.
Yeah, it's not that I won't fight. It's like I said. Sometimes I would really enjoy to hurt someone. It's not often.
Hurt someone in general?
No,
I'm just asking. Like,
no,
is it like?
No, and it's not like a generalized thing. It would be like, no, you did something wrong. Now I have righteous indignation and reason to.
I just gotta ask.
Good question.
I gotta be an interviewer.
How do you look at yourself?
I just look at myself as just pretty normal, pretty average. You know, I think the media kind of overly sensationalizes, antisocial personality disorders in general. They make it seem like most of us are just murderers and we're just off the hinge, which in some cases, rare cases, it can be true. But most people, because all mental health issues exist on the spectrum. So most people you're going to see that are going to exhibit these traits are going to be high functioning. So you would, career fields like doctors, CEOs, lawyers, you typically see them engage in those fields because a lot of that stuff is logical. It's not really emotional based. And the way you're dealing with people, again, is emotional based. It's all logic. So you'll find, people like me in those fields.
I think that you're pretty dang normal.
Yeah, I think, like, the whole, like, being doctors, like, that never... I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's a comorbid thing where, like, I'm just not, like, career oriented. Like, I don't have the drive to get to that level.
That because the reason they say that the CEOs, doctors, and stuff like that is that it's...
You can just walk all over people, right?
You don't need the emotions. You
Right.
act without the emotions, and that's important in those jobs. But I don't think that's true about doctors. I think a lot of doctors care, and they just don't show it. I've read the suicide rates for doctors is so high, it's insane. But, like, CEOs, businessmen, lawyers, like that, I can understand more. I don't know about lawyers, but, like, I'm just thinking, like, big CEOs, because they're...
I'm not that disconnected. Like, I don't think that I could completely disconnect from, like, so, like, if a CEO making the decision to, like, lay off this whole plant because it's not functioning or something, that would be a very difficult thing for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that says. And like lawyers, I wouldn't be cool representing something that was like heinous to me. Like I could not disconnect in that way.
You do have emotions. You do have morals.
Yeah, I have a moral code that I've decided, I think, not that other people have decided for me. Maybe.
But
I
that
don't
makes
know.
sense. I can understand that. And as far as you know, the media over sensationalizing it, I agree. Most of your life is boring.
And like I'm bad at it. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm not great at life. So it's like why it's not glamorous. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
You've had to work really hard. That's not to say that there's not people out there with ASPD that are not. There are people that murder. There are people that abuse, and there are people that are narcissistic, and you know it gets really ugly.
Yeah.
But there is a spectrum, and a spectrum is not like worst to best.
Yeah.
Like there are people that are better and worse, and it's like a 3-dimensional spectrum. I try to explain that to people. Like it's not a linear spectrum. Like you can be better at something and then worse at something for someone. And when that's how autism was explained to me, and it made so much sense. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. It's not just like this. You're like always better. So most of our lives is just a normal life, and you have trouble with a lot of things. But like I wouldn't put you as like. I just think you struggle at things. You're just a normal person, but you struggle at things.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're out hurting or gallivanting or just being like this total POS anymore. And I think a lot of that was amplified by the drug use.
Yeah. Yeah.
It still existed after the drug use. It was still things you had to work on in therapy. It was still things you had to learn in prison, but you had a late onset. And you had enough love and support in your family, and your traumatic experience was not traumatic.
Yeah.
It was damaging. I just think it was damaging to your personal growth, to your emotional growth.
To what do you speak?
Do you want to speak about it?
I have no.
You having to suppress your wants and needs. You wanted to do things, but then you were told to be cool.
Oh yeah, I mean that's one. That's one.
That's
thing
just one
that
avenue, but like it is. Gosh, I don't have it.
I wouldn't call that trauma. I would call.
I would
that
never
just
call that
shaping.
trauma. I would never call that trauma. Oh no, he deleted it. Please, why?
Why?
He deleted it.
How come?
Because he deleted a video. There was a guy that shared a video that was so good, and he said something like, something happened in your childhood that caused you to be emotionally stunted and not express your emotions in such a way that you felt that you had to change them and or suppress them enough that it was damaging. That's all it was. It wasn't like something huge. There was no big, huge traumatic act. There was no big damaging experience. It was just you feeling like you couldn't express your emotional wants, needs, desires in a way that was accepted.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that I think that because you didn't have that big traumatic experience.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, that maybe you got lucky.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
And I think that it was a whole bunch of other combinations, which we're not going to get into right now.
Yeah,
but
by all measures, like, I had it good growing up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like...
You just had some things that stunted your emotional growth and made you not express certain emotions or behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
You think? Like, we're still exploring that. I can cut this out of the video if you want me to. You know, I know that's something we're still working on, so... I just thought it was very insightful.
Yeah. I don't know why I deleted it.
They have to experience trauma to limit their emotions. Trauma always felt like too harsh of a word, but his experience made him greatly limit and suppress his actual emotions. That's one thing we could never explain, because trauma just never felt like the right word.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying that's the answer.
Yeah, it's just it's
just one
developmental way. There's so many ways that we can mess up a kid.
And it could have just been biological too.
Yeah, it's just like
I would never say that you were that your parents that not at all what I'm implying. So, just making sure that's clear. Because you did. You had a great life. You had great parents. Like.
I know.
Are you proud of yourself for anything?
I mean, I do have a sense of pride. mean, I would say I'm proud of myself for sitting here right now, because this isn't something that I would normally do.
Do you have a sense of pride?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know.
What are you proud of?
All kinds of stuff. I'm proud when I do a thing, like make a thing, cook a thing, teach Emerson a thing, show Emerson a thing. Like, a lot of stuff. Like,
Yeah, I think pride is a normal emotion for you.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm proud of you for a lot of things.
Thanks, honey.
What would you like to say to those who are close to you who are learning about this for the first time?
It's still me, you know. Hopefully they're not offended by anything that I say. You know, a lot of people that I've only actually told maybe 2 people about it. And they have, people typically have adverse reactions to it because people start to feel like, oh, well, you don't care about me, right? And that's not necessarily the case. I just have my own way of going about it.
You have your own ways of showing people that you care.
If I am talking to you, engaging with you, like giving you any time at all, like it's because I care. You know what I mean? Like if I turn my attention to you, it's because that's my way of showing I care.
It takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And I see that effort. And for me, I can tell that when there are things that you don't care to talk about, but I care. I talk about everything. I talk about my emotions, like literally, I will talk them to death. Like to death. And I can see when you are strained, but want to try. And I appreciate that so much because you still have the conversation with me. You still engage actively. It's not just like you tune out. Like you could.
Sometimes.
You could have tuned out. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, but sometimes I tune out and don't listen.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. But I just think it's interesting. I think that you are a giver, a doer.
Yeah.
So when you want to show somebody that you care, you give them something or do something for them.
Exactly.
Bubby's still snoring back there.
Making crazy noises.
Little chunker. Hope you guys hear all of it.
What is the most important thing somebody can learn from this interview?
I would say I did this more so for people with, antisocial personality disorder. I didn't necessarily do it for people that don't have it, because I want people that suffer from it to go get the help. I want them to learn how to use all those techniques that we use to lie, to manipulate, to hurt. Use that to benefit people, if you can, because it has a collective effect. That's really how you have to look at it. You have to look at it in a logical way. It has a collective effect, and it makes your life more enjoyable.
When I meet someone who I think probably suffers from ASPD or has behaviors that I recognize from myself, literally all I want for them is to like see beyond it and gain the perspective that I feel like I have. Like, because I remember how being trapped in that and then not knowing why you're doing what you're doing, or like you just kind of all of a sudden look around and like realize that like this isn't what you want, or like you know what I mean, you don't really know how you got there. That sucks. Like, and it's not that it is incredibly difficult to get the perspective, but it's not like it's all stuff that makes sense.
You've said that. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah,
you said there's like keys that just kind of like it just twisted and locked and like unlocked a new level.
Yeah, it's like you never know what realization will be that for someone. So I don't know. I understand in sharing all that could definitely help someone.
What about our videos?
I was speaking for that too.
I do it for the people that are actively involved in it too. Maybe the people with antisocial. I say it a lot that I do it to break down, to show you guys that not everybody fits that stereotype and show you the person behind the label. But I really want people to feel connected. Yeah. I really hate that feeling of being alone.
You also, you exemplify the person who has to deal with someone like that. So
I'm the family member.
Yeah, you represent that very well, I think, too. You know what I mean?
And I try to be honest in my representation of this because I know that you are not going to get here.
Yeah.
Not without a lot of therapy.
Yeah,
I didn't do this. I did this, you did that, and then we came together.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ever give anybody false hope, but I think that your story is so important. It is. And our story is important because we might be a unicorn, but there might be other unicorns.
And people can change. Like, see, with Dyshae, like, me, and...
He's younger, too.
And, yeah, I was like,
10
man,
years.
I wish if I could have got 10 years ago, like, I could be in such a better place.
Yeah. It would be nice.
Like, the whole thing.
I gotta get a better tripod, and then we won't worry about that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think about that, like... Think about where we were 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we were bad.
Yeah. 10 years ago, I think I was in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, 10 years ago, I wasn't bad, but we weren't together. I was living a life, like, I was dating my ex-husband. Like...
I was in prison.
Yeah.
We still had a number of years in and out of prison to go.
Yep.
So...
And...
I really wish I could have got it then.
If I could give anybody advice, it would be therapy. Love
Honest
your person.
therapy, yeah.
Always. You have to be honest. There are so many times I was not honest with my therapist and got absolutely
Nothing.
nowhere. But, like, if you love someone that has ASPD, love them, but love them from afar. Put in boundaries. Like, respect yourself. Always respect yourself.
Yeah, you have to make that call if it's worth... They may not change for years.
Or ever.
Right, exactly. There's no guarantee. And it's like... can be a dismal outlook.
I just want people to respect the fact that I can say that and believe that and preach that and live this.
Right.
Because I'm here now.
This is our experience, not anyone else's.
And I think that I will continue to make videos with you. I think that they're great. I think that the audience that we are getting is so awesome. Like, yeah, I'm drawing out some creeps
Happens
from
to
the
everybody.
works. Like, it's a topic that is going to do that. But I'm so happy with the subscribers that we've had. The ones that comment on the not antisocial personality disorder videos,
Right.
You guys are the ones that I love. You guys, like,
The
you
real
care.
MVPs.
You care about us. You've seen our story. You've seen the cheating story video. You've seen the codependency videos, like the addiction videos, the mental health ones. And
Yeah,
we
there's
appreciate
a
them.
lot more to us than just this.
Yeah.
Of course.
But yeah, that's all we have in this one, guys. I know it's another long one, but we love you very, very much.
So long.
Be weird. Be kind. Bye.
You're funny.
Mm.
I'm gonna have juicy stuff. No, I think I'm okay.
No, I made your lips look nice. Definitely shiny. Oh god.
Plumper.
It definitely gave you like a color on like half. Here, we're gonna kiss the whole lips.
That's better, I think.
It actually did. It gave you more color.